Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Daily, and thank you for joining me as we go over Volume 8 of the A Certain Scientific Accelerator manga series. A volume that introduces us to a couple of new and exciting characters in the form of Higumi Matsuri, a girl that was teased the end of Volume 7, falling from the sky only for Accelerator to save her, that appears in a really fancy looking dress. With the second character being a girl that smells of oil and rocks a very cute ribbon on the top of her head. With a very lively personality, however we don't get told her name as of the ending of this volume. She does look rather interesting and to be an intriguing part of the story, as she too appears looking at the site where Accelerator found Higumi originally. Overall, for this character in particular, I really just enjoyed her introduction and her playful, wild, lively personality that was on display. She treated Last Order like a little kid, like she literally is, throwing her up into the air and spinning her around and kind of getting on Last Order's nerves a little bit, creeping her out ever so slightly. Plus, if she really can cook, then that is awesome. I like a character that can cook. So going back to Higumi, I found her high and mighty, posh / privileged attitude very different from the previous girl side character that we just had in the form of Steel. If you remember, Steel was very calm, composed, and very much more serious. This character was not really that serious. She was more jokey, more kind of comedic, and that's fine. Even though the two are different when comparing them, it's completely fine in terms of different personality, because it is slightly refreshing to have a character that acts a different way than one that we've previously just been talking with, or reading with I should say. Design wise, this character looks great. I really do like her hairstyle most of all, and I think the clothing choice is odd, but it fits a character perfectly in line with the attitude, personality, and just what her character stands for in total. It's over the top, yes, but so is her character in general. Like it. But the main character of this volume was indeed Last Order. She gets a lot of shine and involvement, which was absolutely brilliant. As not only does it give off some great comedic moments in the kind of the faces and the expressions that we see from her, but it also gives us more quality time with the newly introduced characters, helping us as the reader get more interested and more invested within these new characters as we learn new pieces of information, and it works a lot better than just giving them to Accelerator and them having this awkward dynamic together. At least with Last Order, it's light-hearted, it's happy, it's go-lucky, it is a bit comedic, but there's still that serious element lurking in the background behind every piece of dialogue, which is something that I really did appreciate and love. I love seeing the two characters of Last Order and Higumi becoming friends and building their connection to the point where Last Order was running around trying to find just a small piece of information about her new missing friend by the end of the volume. As it really showcased the level of friendship that was created in this short space of time. Now, I understand that Last Order is a child, so her ideas of making friends is just very fast and very quick in terms of a process. She does get attached to things rather quickly and rather easily, but there was one line that really helped sell this friendship to me as a reader, and that line was in the conversation where they're at the bus station and Higumi tells Last Order that it's because of the fact that somebody else saved her, now her duty is to help other people. That connection being built between the two girls, that they were both kind of saved, establishes this idea in Last Order's head, makes her feel like she's similar to a new friend, building that bond, making them feel closer and closer than they originally were. Being that Last Order was saved by Accelerator, and now she knows that her new friend was saved by somebody else, she just wants to help her out. So yeah, that display of friendship, that building, that connection building, that kind of characterization of the two characters in directing, I thought was absolutely fantastic. Now we switch over to a bit more of a darker type of theme to this volume, where we get the name drop of Gensai Sekihara being dropped in the relation of the situation surrounding Higumi's character, in where we learned that she has a very complex body system, in where there's these wires that are floating throughout her body and into her brain, which are so small that they cannot be seen by the naked eye. This is connected to a device that is kind of replacing her heart and acting as a heart, and is mentioned to have some liquid stored inside it, which isn't actually blood or anything that your body would normally have in terms of liquid or just things in general. So whatever that is should be really interesting to find out as we move forward into other volumes. So then, why does the name Gensai Sekihara come into play? And why is it linked? Well, it's linked to the substance known as body crystals, which is a drug that causes a psychic's ability to forcefully go out of control and just go crazy. This is where Higumi comes in. Her body is in a state where both her ability is trying to go out of control, but her body is trying to pacify it and cause it not to. This, of course, causes her stamina to deplete very quickly and causes her to have those continuous collapses that we see throughout the volume. So, although we had this information-heavy volume, we also did have, like, the art style and the world, just in general, the character. This character was given to us very quickly, very abruptly. We got loads of information about her character and what links it has to one of the darkest characters within the series, that being Gensai, and it's just an explosive amount of information in a short space of time. I'm not really opposed to that, but at the same time, I did like what they gave us because it added more suspense and again, gave us two parallels. Light with Last Order and the character, and darkness with Accelerator learning the history of the character and what she's linked to and who she is linked to. This manga has some really good structural integrity when it comes to the layout of the actual manga itself. As Accelerator, like I've just said, takes the back seat and focuses, and yet still stays relevant through explaining and learning that new information, while Last Order took the spotlight and gave us some enjoyable information and segments throughout the volume. So from that point of view, brilliant, couldn't fault it at all. Overall, I thought this volume was great as a setup volume, again building up the newer faces that are introduced, while establishing a new plotline and story, and making it interesting and hooking us as an audience and grabbing our attention by giving us important name drops and alluding us to a new organisation that is linked to our new female character. And of course, I think the name is Food Gourmets or Food Banquets. It'll be up on screen so you can see it right there and read it yourself, but that's the new organisation we're going to have to kind of look at. One thing that did kind of confuse me, and I didn't really understand all too much, was the cover art. Simply being, it just didn't make much sense. I get it, they have to make Accelerator the cover man because it's his story, but at the same time, what is he meant to be destroying? The machines from last volume? I feel like it should have been switched around, but that's just me, I'm not an artist. And speaking of which, I liked Accelerator's display within this volume, showing a very human-like aspect of his character in the fact that we've been seeing him go at full throttle and fight after fight after fight, confrontation after confrontation after confrontation, but in this volume, it shows that he, even though he's a monster, a strong powerhouse, a guy like Accelerator needs proper rest and recovery, because we see him kind of having, I think, bleeding on the brain, so it causes him to hallucinate and collapse. I like this. It gives him a more human aspect. Another thing they did with this character that I thought was really sweet and lovely, which is something I didn't think I would say about Accelerator, is the fact that when he sees Last Order worried about her new friend, he actually goes and finds information that could possibly help her about her situation. This proves that Accelerator does genuinely care about Last Order because he just wants to make her less worried about her new friend. So that I really do appreciate, and it was just quite nice and wholesome. My favourite panel of the volume was probably the looks on the faces of Last Order, the Doctor, and Accelerator's faces when the topic of rest was brought up. Accelerator did not want to rest, but they were just like, you have to. And I don't know why, but that panel in particular, I loved it a lot. So all in all, great storytelling, brilliant characters and interactions. The artwork was fantastic. So let's read the next volume and see where the story is going to go. I'm excited to jump into volume 9, but before that, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more content in the future. Plus, I do want to know your thoughts on this volume down in the comment section below. Let me know all your thoughts, opinions, and we'll have a discussion about it in the comments down below. Of course, stay safe, be happy, hopefully, and have a great day. Alligator, matane, goodbye.